Good Friday to you. Hope your weekend is off to a great start. Thanks for joining More Sports and Less Levine, the Weekend Winners Edition. I'm Dave Bacon. The Browns control their playoff destiny. They have it in their own hands, getting ready for their second straight primetime game in 2 weeks as they get ready to face the New York Giants in New York Sunday night in primetime. Game was flexed from Sunday afternoon to Sunday night. The Browns, 4.5-point favorites on the road against the Giants. The Browns, they're very aware that this Giants team struggled offensively, has played pretty well defensively. Like the Browns, Giants have a first-year head coach in Joe Judge who has the Giants in that playoff race in the NFC East, just a game behind the Washington football team. They do own the tiebreaker. Judge is from the Bill Belichick coaching tree, and he thinks very highly of the Browns quarterback.
Obviously, I've watched this guy for several years. I think the thing that stands out about him above all is this guy's an elite competitor. I mean, he really is. He's a tough dude. You know his story, you know how he went through college, had to walk on twice, earned 2 starting jobs. Look, it's no coincidence this guy's having tremendous success in the National Football League. I love the attitude he plays with. I love the chippiness he plays with. This guy extends plays. You know, one thing he does that's really fun to watch, and you want to eliminate that fun element when you're playing him, but when he's really condensed in the pocket, you know, he finds those small seams really seep out. A lot of quarterbacks, you say, are mobile quarterbacks, rely on really just losing ground and gaining an edge and using their speed. I think this guy does a great job of playing freeze tag in a phone booth and coming out the winner. And he really squeaks his way out, extends the play, and he can either run the ball vertically or throw it down the field. So, look, this guy's a tremendous competitor. He's got a strong arm. I mean, that's not a question. He can make every throw. He really ties into the bootlegs and the play actions off the run game they have. I mean, look, with Chubb and Hunt, I mean, these are 2 of the elite backs in the league right there. So you put those 3 together, Chubb, Hunt, you know, and then Baker. I mean, the 3 of them really complement each other across the board. They've got a very good offensive line, and they got a great receiving core. This is a very talented group.
But, I mean, that's the kind of stuff I want to bring when you watch tape. You want to be able to feel that. That's how I've told you guys I want to be authentic and lead these guys, and I'm passionate about the game, so appreciate that.
Again, both the Browns and the Giants fighting for their playoff lives. Neither can really afford a loss in this game Sunday night. And when you talk about the Browns, they're focused on playing the Giants and not thinking about anything else.
Every single game is the most important one. We obviously, like I said, we have a big picture mindset, but, you know, the singular focus is just so vital right now to get into the postseason playoff race. So it's we know we have to take care of business this week. We're going to have that singular laser focus.
So the Browns have the Giants Sunday night, then they have the Jets. If they take care of business and do the things they should do, they should be able to step into the playoffs for the first time in a long, long time. Without question, Baker Mayfield has elevated his play. Browns will always be a run-first team with Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb in the backfield. But those 2 backs are thrilled and excited when Baker Mayfield plays the way he has been the last several weeks.
I mean, he's playing great. And as you can see, he's been playing great, scoring something like 40 points since he's doing great. It shows that he's a huge part of the offense. We all go through him, and, you know, as good as he is, so he's playing very, very for us. Happy to be here. But, yeah, I mean, I just see a lot of greatness. Just would all believed in him. You know, he's shown it.
You know, I understand he's a guy who's always going to be confident, but is there just another kind of level of fire and confidence that, you know, when he's really feeling good that you kind of see come out of him and that, you know, maybe spreads throughout the team?
Yeah, I mean, for sure. When he's on like this and he doesn't miss, and we all know that. We all like that. We can't get out the field when he's on like that. 3rd down, 4th down, he's making a perfect pass. So, yeah, I mean, I feel like the whole team sees that. We feel it, and it makes us want to play hard.
That's Nick Chubb talking about Baker Mayfield and the way he's elevated his game. So the Browns getting ready to face the Giants on Sunday Night Football in prime time. Browns 4.5-point favorites. A lot of familiar names the Browns will be going against. Former head coach Freddie Kitchens calling the plays in this one. When we return, we'll go to our Browns guy as beat reporter Dan Labbe will join us. More sports and Less Levine. The Weekend Winners Edition will be right back.
Presque Isle Downs and Casino has sports betting. Use one of our 50 state-of-the-art Bet America kiosks to place your bet and watch your favorite games on one of our many HD televisions or visit our sportsbook area. Only at Presque Isle Downs and Casino.
Do you like Ohio State football? Would you like to get information from me, Doug Lesmerises, about Ohio State football without having to look at my face? We have got the plan for you. Become an Ohio State text subscriber through cleveland.com. You send a text, 614-350-3315. What do you get? 2, 3, 4 texts right in your phone every day about Ohio State football. Inside information, polls, voting, all kinds of things. You can be on our podcast. We take text subscriber questions on our Buckeye Talk podcast every week. If you really want to be involved with Ohio State football, in season or out of season, become an Ohio State text subscriber from cleveland.com. Send a text to 614-350-3315. 14-day free trial. What do you have to lose? $3.99 a month after that. 614-350-3315. I'll see you in your phone.
Tri-C is here for you. Now more than ever, you need a post-secondary education. So I encourage you to start your journey here at Tri-C. The majority of fall classes will take place online, but we've added a variety of formats to meet your learning needs, and we've taken many steps to keep you safe on campus. Whether you're ready to get started or your four-year plans have changed, Tri-C is where futures begin.
The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education program recognizes role model students and teachers from across Ohio. Nominations can now be done completely online. To nominate a deserving teacher or student, go to ohiolottery.com. In the About section, find Partners in Education. There you will find links to the nomination forms. Students, kindergarten through 12th grade, can be academic all-stars. Teachers can be honored as a Teacher of the Month. The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education, where stars shine. More sports and less. Levine, the weekend winners edition continues. I'm Dave Bacon. We're going to start talking some Cleveland Browns football as they get ready to take on the New York Giants in New York. A Sunday night game flexed to the night from the afternoon. Let's welcome in Browns beat reporter here on cleveland.com, as well as in the pages of the Plain Dealer, Dan Labbe. Dan, let's start. Normally we start on the offensive side of the ball. We got to start with defense. That was not exactly what we were looking for Monday night. They scored with a little over a minute left, and I just sat there and I said, they scored too soon. And you kind of saw the same kind of things over and over in that drive to get the game-winning field goal.
Yeah, it just really felt like the Ravens knew they could kind of get whatever they wanted when they had the football. And I was with you. I mean, I'm not going to blame Kareem Hunt for getting into the end zone on that play. I mean, when you have that opportunity, it's a little different than when you're leading and trying to run out the clock. I think when you have a chance to get in the end zone, you almost have to take it there. But you also knew with a kicker like Justin Tucker, that Ravens offense didn't need to get very far, and they were able to win the game like that. Joe Woods talked to us on Thursday. He certainly took ownership of a lot of stuff there. Some of the alignments were off on the touchdown to Hollywood Brown before the Kareem Hunt score. I mean, you literally had guys running into each other trying to chase routes. So everything was just really messy on Monday night, and it showed in that final score.
As we look forward, what's the health like? Key pieces were missing, Denzel Ward, and Rodney Harrison. I know he's on IR and he's probably not coming back, but those are the kind of guys you would really like to have when your defense is on the field with a chance to win a game with a stop.
Yeah, either one of those guys would have really helped to go against Lamar Jackson and what the Ravens were doing. And look, if you've got Denzel Ward out there, maybe that deep ball to Hollywood Brown gets broken up or something. So the good news is Denzel Ward back on the practice field this week on Thursday, and it looks like he'll be able to try and give it a go on Sunday. We'll kind of see if they make it a game time decision or if they make that decision before they even head to New Jersey. But I think that I think getting him back is big. At safety, I know Browns fans might not really be too worried about Andrew Sendejo not being able to go on Sunday. He's in the concussion protocol, but it's something to keep in mind because now you're going to have to turn to somebody like a Sheldrick Redwine who has made a big play this year but hasn't been able to stay on the field consistently. And then, they also have Tedrick Thompson, who they claimed off waivers a couple weeks ago, but he's still kind of getting up to speed. So you're really shorthanded at that safety position.
And the Browns knew this defense it was going to be a work in progress, but you start taking pieces away from it, and it's been a challenge. If the defensive line doesn't dominate, this defense struggles. I mean, there's no other way to get around it.
Yeah, exactly. You look at the group behind them, the linebackers, we all knew that was going to be an issue coming into this season, and then the injuries piling up in the secondary, losing Grant Delpit before the season even started. That, I think sometimes we even forget about that injury, but that was a really important injury to that secondary. They had big plans for what they were going to do with a guy like Delpit. It's why they went and got Ronnie Harrison to replace him. So, it's all about that pass rush, and the good news is it's not Lamar Jackson back there this week. Daniel Jones can move. Obviously, Daniel Jones can run with the football. He's the Giants' second leading rusher if he's the one that goes. But at the very least, you don't have to deal with Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, were you a little surprised? I know Lamar Jackson is a freakishly good athlete, one of the best in the NFL, but it just looked like the Browns' defense didn't want to challenge him and get after him. They were kind of trying to contain him, and that didn't work either, obviously.
They just looked kind of hapless against him, which is disappointing because, you played him earlier in the year. These guys have played him, they played him twice last year, a lot of these guys. So it was really disappointing to see that they weren't able to, at least in spots, kind of hem him into the pocket and make him step up in the pocket instead of running around and creating on the move. Because the thing about Lamar Jackson is he's a guy that can create so much chaos, and then he can just thrive when all that chaos is around him. And that's kind of what he was doing on Monday night. It wasn't a textbook offense from the Ravens. It was Lamar Jackson creating a lot on his own, and I think that's the most disappointing thing. He was going to get you a couple times. That's just the nature of playing the guy. But the fact that they never really had a moment where they hemmed him into the pocket and he had to step up and he just wasn't able to do anything, I think that was the most disappointing thing because, like you said, that front four is supposed to be the strength of this defense.
When you look at the Giants coming up, you mentioned Daniel Jones. He's got a right hamstring issue and a left ankle issue. So that's if I'm a defensive lineman, I want to get after that. And you got Colt McCoy behind him. There's a name from the past. And, oh, by the way, you got Freddie Kitchens calling plays, which that means we've got the Wheel of Fortune play calling approach coming up against the Browns defense. There's just a lot of things. This is one that the defense should be able to go out and play really well against.
I would think so. In a weird way, maybe the Giants almost would rather have Colt McCoy out there because I'm sure Myles Garrett is looking at Daniel Jones and all the times he fumbles and puts the ball on the ground, and I'm sure he's just wide-eyed thinking about coming around the edge and collecting a strip sack or two in this game. So maybe it would almost be beneficial for the Giants to just have Colt McCoy out there who, I guess at least is going to take care of the football a little more. But, for the Browns, on one hand, you say it's tough to prepare for a game when you don't know who the quarterback is going to be. But I don't think either of these quarterbacks really put a scare into you. So I think they'll be okay either way.
Yeah, I think with both of them, you pin your ears back and say, go get them, guys, to that defensive line, and you live with anything else. I mean, they're relying on Wayne Gallman as their back now with Saquon Barkley injured early in the year. And they've scored, this surprised me, they've scored the second fewest points in the NFL in front of the Jets, who the Browns have next. So, I mean, and if the Browns take care of those two games, they should be in the playoffs.
Yeah, I would imagine if they win this game that they would finally pop up on those NFL clinching scenarios because I think 11 is really the key number in all of this. I think Baltimore's probably going to get to 11 with their schedule, but I don't know how many other teams are. When you're stuck at 10, you're relying on tiebreakers and you're relying on a whole bunch of different things, and some of those do work in the Browns' favor. But just go take care of business in these back-to-back games against two teams you should be able to beat. One from the NFC East, another that's not even trying to win, and you can make that Pittsburgh game at the end of the season mean very, very little.
And when you look at the Giants, there is an area to be concerned with. Evan Ingram, a really good tight end, and And again, crunch time against the Ravens, it was the tight end, Mark Andrews, that ate him up. And Ingram is one of those guys that they'll split out. He's a big guy that can run. They'll put him out wide, and you can be sure they're going to try to run Evan Ingram down the seam and see if the Browns can defend it.
Oh, for sure. And the other thing about this defense, too, is I'm sure, Freddie Kitchens and that offensive staff, which is still a little weird to say here, but Freddie Kitchens and that Giants offensive staff are looking at what the Browns defense has done, not just against the Ravens, but even going back to that second half against Tennessee when they gave up all those points and Tennessee mounted that comeback. I'm sure they're looking at it and seeing the vulnerabilities in this defense and knowing that if they can protect their quarterback long enough, they can probably get something going. This isn't an offense that's going to put 40 on you or something like that, but they should be able to score some points if they're able to protect their quarterback. And
again, if you're the Browns and you're Joe Woods, you got to get that defensive line. Miles, Olivier Vernon, Ogunjobi, go after him. Don't worry about Wayne Gallman. Go get the guy with the ball that wants to throw it.
Yeah, you'll let Wayne Gallman beat you. I think, his yards per carry average is pretty good, but he's also still Wayne Gallman. So you'll let the Giants kind of ride him as much as they want in this one.
Dan Labbe, Browns beat reporter here on cleveland.com, as well as in the pages of the Plain Dealer. We're going to take a quick time out, flip the script, and go to the other side of the ball. We'll be talking Browns offense, a pretty good subject as of late as they get ready for the Giants. More sports and less Levine, the Weekend Winners Edition. Will be right back. Stay with us.
Transform your home for the holidays with an authentic Nature Stone garage floor. No more tripping on cracked, uneven concrete. Stop slipping on puddles and standing water. It's the safer, more beautiful garage floor that's easy to clean and never needs replaced. That's why it's backed by Russell's Promise. For a limited time, get more Nature Stone than ever before with up to half your garage floor free. Schedule your free cost estimate easily online today at naturestone.com to qualify for your free flooring. It's not just a floor.
Wow, it's Nature Stone.
There are tastes we remember. Every smell brings the happiness of times gone by. Experience this every time you walk into Gallucci's Italian Foods. Whether you need lunch on the go, a catered party, or that perfect blend of wine, meats, and cheeses, Gallucci's has exactly what you're looking for. Straight from Mama's Kitchen for old world traditions or original experiences. From the tastes you remember to new flavors you'll never forget. Gallucci's is a tasty branch of your family tree.
When it comes to selling you a mattress, most retailers are handing you a long line of extra steps that drive up costs and create confusion. At the Original Mattress Factory, we simplify the mattress shopping experience by building mattresses and box springs in our own local factories and selling them direct to you. It's short, sweet, and simply makes sense. So experience more than just the mattress store. Experience an original, the Original Mattress Factory.
More sports and less Levine. The Weekend Winners Edition continues. Browns getting ready for back-to-back games in prime time. Sunday night game. They will take on the New York Giants in New York. Browns 4.5-point favorites. Let's welcome back in Dan Labbe, Browns beat reporter here on cleveland.com, as well as in the pages of the Plain Dealer. All right, Dan, we handled the mess that was the defense early. Now the good part. The offense has looked really good, and I know Baker Mayfield threw an interception. Tried to fit it in. It was a really good play by one of their defensive linemen, hybrid linebacker types. He has looked really good, and he's taken care of the ball, and you've seen him, I think, you've seen him throw the ball away more often than he had been, and I think that's kind of understanding game situations pretty well for him.
He's really made so much progress since that Pittsburgh game, and it's sort of been this slow progression of, I've kind of called it the rebuilding of Baker after that Pittsburgh game, and then that 0-5 start against Cincinnati kind of built his confidence back up with those 21 in a row, and then partially because of the weather, partially because of how they called games, he sort of played game manager for a few weeks and just sort of learned to operate in this offense. And I think we saw a little against Jacksonville, we saw more against Tennessee, and then again on Monday night. Baker kind of letting it loose. We saw that old aggressive Baker, but now you're mixing in some of the smarter stuff, like you mentioned, the throwaways. It seems like he gets an intentional grounding every game, but you'd even take that over a bad interception. I don't even necessarily mind the interception he threw on Monday night. Obviously, it was in a really bad spot, but he was going to throw an interception again eventually. So, you have to live with that with every quarterback. They all turn the football over now and again, but we're not seeing it at the level we were, when you go back to the second half against Indianapolis and then what he did against Pittsburgh. And that's really the positive sign with him.
The other thing is he really is taking care of the ball when the Browns offense is in the red zone. The other thing that you like is down 14, offense kind of got it in gear, moved, and actually took the lead.
Yeah, and Kevin Stefanski was aggressive, which is really the hallmark of his play calling. He was aggressive going for it on fourth down. When they were down 8, instead of kicking that extra point, he kind of gave this team a chance to take the lead and win, and he took the risk and went for 2 points. So, this is a coach that kind of gives this offense confidence, I think. And when your quarterback is feeling really good and in a rhythm, and when you've got weapons like Nick Chubb and then Kareem Hunt in the passing game in this one, it makes being aggressive so much easier. And I thought it was really impressive that this team, down 14 points twice in that game, was able to come back and, like you said, take the lead.
When you look at the run game, not as effective probably as you would have liked it, because the Ravens are a type of team you're going to face if, in fact, you're fortunate enough to be in the playoffs, and that's something they're going to need. I was a little surprised that they couldn't run the ball a little bit more effectively. Were you?
I was. I actually thought this would be a game where they would kind of lean on their run game a little bit more than they did. Obviously, that's not what they wanted to do. They came out and they threw the ball around a little more than I expected. But I think this is sort of the reality the Browns are facing right now. With Odell Beckham out, teams are going to stack the box, and they have been stacking the box at a higher rate than they were before he was hurt. And so, you want to loosen them up a little bit by throwing the ball down the field. And now you've got 2 games of tape that defensive coordinators are putting in and saying, oh, you know what, they've got a guy in Donovan Peoples-Jones that can get down the field. We don't want to have Kareem Hunt lined up in the slot or out wide against a linebacker. And now they've got to adjust back to that passing game a little bit. So, while I would have liked to have seen them maybe lean on that run game and control the football, control possession a little more early in that game, I think long-term it could have an effect on how people play this team.
The other thing that was good to see is Rashard Higgins had a rough start. He played poorly in the first quarter plus. Then he came through, and it was more of like what we've seen of late from Higgins. That's a good sign that he didn't get down on himself. They kept throwing the ball to him as well.
It's really been an impressive story for this team just across the board, and Higgins especially in this one got off to that rough start, and we haven't really seen that from him. I can't remember a game where he came out and had drops or fumbles or anything like that, but he certainly turned it around. But you can almost go down the list and just point to guys, whether they're younger guys, veterans. When they make a mistake, they're able to come back from it. I think about Harrison Bryant, who's had fumble problems, and yet he's still out there. He's still available to his quarterback and making plays for him. Jarvis Landry has even had some moments this year where he's had some uncharacteristic drops. But guys just kind of keep coming back from making those mistakes. And I think that kind of leads back to coaching. I think these players understand that, making mistakes isn't acceptable, but, the coaches aren't going to give up on them. They're going to keep putting them out there and keep putting them in positions to make plays.
Hooper has been banged up pretty much all season. So, again, do the Browns expect Hooper to be available? That would be another part of that run game that probably gets overlooked a little bit. He's a really good blocker.
He is. And, obviously his offensive production hasn't been what you thought it would be when the Browns signed him, and that's been a disappointment. But everything else he's brought, from the blocking and kind of being a guy in that tight end room that the younger guys can lean on, he's delivered on that. So I think not having him too, that might have played a little bit of a role into how the Browns approached the run game on Monday night. So it seems like he's trending towards playing. It didn't seem like, you always hear neck and you get a little nervous about those types of injuries. And of course the Browns lost Taywan Taylor already to a neck injury. He's on IR. So you get a little nervous about that, but it seems like this wasn't anything too serious, and he might be able to get back out there on Sunday.
All right, Dan, we've come to our point in our conversation where we come to every week. 4.5-point favorites. The Browns are on the road against the New York Giants. Again, team has scored the second fewest points to the winless Jets in the NFL this year. What are you thinking this game looks like, and what are you expecting?
Well, I mean, look, the Giants were trending upwards before they lost to Arizona last week, and I think that sort of shed some light on the fact that maybe it's a little early to get on that Giants hype train. I think the Browns will win this game. I think they'll cover. I'll go with 28-21.
I also think it's going to be a close game, and I just don't think these Browns, the way that they are put together, they're not built to blow anybody out. But what you want to see is the Browns in control of the game the entire way. Against the Texans, it was a 3-point game, but you never felt they were in trouble. And I think that's what you want to see against the Jets and the Giants. Take control of the game, run the football. It doesn't have to be pretty, but be in control of the game. And I think if that happens, you're pretty happy if you're Kevin Stefanski and the Browns coaching staff.
Yeah, I mean, I think this could be one of those games where, like I said, if it's 28-21 final, maybe the Browns are up 28-14 in the fourth quarter, and the Giants get a cheap one at the end. I think the Browns have shown that they can go out, with Tennessee, for example, and they've done this in some other games. They can go out and kind of build that lead early and kind of control the football after that and hang on. It's just this defense isn't really built to shut you down for 60 minutes. So I think even against the Giants and that struggling offense, that might be a big ask. So I think the Giants will make the final score look close, but I'm with you. I think the Browns will have control of the game.
The other thing about it, don't forget, the Giants won 4 in a row before losing to the Arizona Cardinals, and they're very much in the playoff race in the NFC East. They're a game behind the Washington football team, and they've beaten them twice, so they have the tiebreaker there. They're playing for their playoff lives every time they go out there, being the Giants. So you're going to get everything they got. I just don't know that they have enough. Their defense is actually pretty good.
Yeah, they've got some guys on that defense. And, one of the storylines this week has been how they disguise things. And so Baker's going to have to be, he's going to have to know what he's seeing. And the receivers are going to have to know what they're seeing in the passing game as well. But I always go back to this with the Browns, and you kind of look, the Giants have kind of given up some big rushing numbers this year, here and there. Their run defense isn't terrible necessarily, but you kind of look at team rushing yards. When you go down that list, you see some big numbers. And this Browns team can always, if they want to, just rely on those two backs to just take control of a football game. And, on a short week, sometimes it's just about keeping it simple.
Absolutely. Shorten the game, run the guys, and have the defense play well enough to win. Dan Labbe, Browns beat reporter here on cleveland.com, as well as in the pages of the Plain Dealer. Appreciate the time as always and the insight. I'm sure we'll check back in with you next week for New York Part 2.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
All right, Dan Labbe, Browns beat reporter. We're going to step aside, take one more time out. On the other side of the break, we'll put a wrap on it as the Browns are getting ready to play their second straight primetime game Sunday night. They travel to New York to face the Giants. More sports and less Levine. The Weekend Winners Edition will be right back. Stay with us.
We're living in uncertain times, but you don't have to put your future on hold. At Tri-C, you can move ahead while staying safe and saving money. The majority of fall classes will take place online, but we've added a variety of formats to meet your learning needs, and we've taken many steps to keep you safe on campus. Whether you're ready to get started or your 4-year plans have changed, check out Tri-C's programs and resources, because Tri-C is where futures begin.
Well, hello, everyone. Let me tell you a little bit about Browns Football Insider. For only $3.99 a month, you can get text sent right to your phone each day from me, Dan Labbe, Scott Pasco, and Ellis Williams. In addition to that, you'll receive a Football Insider newsletter every day with special things from us, things that you won't see anywhere else on the site. You'll get breaking news, analysis, features, film breakdown, and things like that. Texting us directly gives you a great chance to cut through the clutter of Facebook, Twitter, other social media, and avoid the trolls. Also, it's the only way to get your questions on the Orange and Brown Talk podcast. So why should you sign up? Try a 14-day free trial. You can cancel at any time. All it takes is one text, but you won't want to cancel. We have hundreds of subscribers join us over the last year. They love it and have stayed with us. We're seeing the Football Insider community grow every week, and it's only $3.99 a month, which is less than 14 cents a day. What I like most about Football Insider is the opportunity to connect with you one-on-one and really communicate with you. So how can you become a Football Insider? You can click on cleveland.com/Browns, the blue banner at the top of the page. Or easier yet, text me at 216-208-3965. Again, That's 216-208-3965.
It takes attention to detail. With your local Bryant dealer, you're getting more than just a technician. You're getting someone who pays attention to your needs and the little things that make a big difference. It takes a dealer you can rely on. And to keep your family warm this winter,
here, let me show you how this works.
It takes Bryant.
Bryant, whatever it takes.
And to keep your family comfortable, it takes Smiley One Heating and Cooling. Find them at smiley1.com.
In the middle of the holidays, Christmas approaching quickly. If you have a sports fan, a Cleveland sports fan on that holiday list, we have some unique ideas as far as Christmas gifts go. That'll do it for us. Have a great holiday season. Remember, Les Levine back in the chair Monday from 6 to 7. We'll see you next weekend as well. Have a great week, everybody.